3 shocking facts about Moses. Everyone knows Moses as the man who confronted Pharaoh and parted the Red Sea. But the Book of Jasher reveals incredible details about his life that most people have never heard. Today, we'll uncover 3 shocking facts about Moses, plus a bonus one at the end that will blow your mind. Fact number 1. How Moses got his speech impediment. You may have heard that Moses had a speech problem, but do you know how it happened? The Book of Jasher records a dramatic moment when Moses was only 3 years old. Sitting in Pharaoh's banquet hall, the child Moses boldly took Pharaoh's crown and placed it on his own head. Jasher, chapter 70 reads, "And in the 3rd year from the birth of Moses, Pharaoh was sitting at a banquet, when Alperanith the queen was sitting at his right and Batia at his left. And the lad Moses was lying upon her bosom, and Balaam the son of Beor with his 2 sons, and all the princes of the kingdom were sitting at table in the king's presence. And the lad stretched forth his hand upon the king's head, and took the crown from the king's head and placed it on his own head." The court was terrified, for the act seemed prophetic. Balaam the magician warned Pharaoh that this Hebrew child was destined to overthrow Egypt. And Balaam said to the king, "Let us moreover call for all the judges of Egypt and the wise men thereof, and let us know if the judgment of death is due to this boy, as thou didst say, and then we will slay him." But an angel, appearing as one of Pharaoh's wise men, proposed a test. Place before the child a precious stone and a burning coal. If Moses reached for the stone, it would prove his cunning, and he should be killed. But if he reached for the coal, it would show innocence. And they placed the boy before them, and the lad endeavored to stretch forth his hand to the onyx stone. But the angel of the Lord took his hand and placed it upon the coal. And the coal became extinguished in his hand, and he lifted it up and put it into his mouth, and burned part of his lips and part of his tongue, and he became heavy in mouth and tongue. So the king and princes refrained from slaying the child. So Moses remained in Pharaoh's house, growing up, and the Lord was with him. Wow! Incredible, right? That's how Moses became slow of speech, not by accident, but by divine design. God used this moment to save Moses' life and set him apart for his plan. But what if I told you Moses wasn't just a prophet? He was also a king. Fact number 2. Moses was a king. And not just any king, he ruled over the mighty nation of Cush for 40 years. The Book of Jasher tells us, "For many years, Moses ruled as the king of Cush. He led their armies into many battles, bringing them victory after victory. Though not born of their bloodline, they respected his wisdom and his leadership." Moses was 27 when he started to reign over the children of Cush. He would be their king for 40 years, and all the children of Cush loved Moses, all the days that he reigned over them, and all the inhabitants of Cush were greatly afraid of him. Though Moses wore the crown of Cush, his heart remained with the God of Israel. He would not bow to the idols of the land, nor did he sleep with the queen during his entire reign. The queen wasn't happy that Moses refused to lay with her, and this led to conflict within the royal household. And Zerah the queen said unto the princes, "This is not the manner of the sons of Cush, to take a man that is not of their seed and place him over them for a king. Now therefore take counsel, what to do with this man?" And the princes of Cush answered the queen and all the people, "We will not hearken to this man to reign over us, seeing he is not of our flesh." So after 40 years, the people of Cush removed him as king, not because he failed as a leader, but because he was Hebrew and remained loyal to God. Think about that. Moses gained decades of experience leading a powerful nation, preparing him for his ultimate mission of leading Israel. Fact number 3. Moses spent 10 years in prison. Jasher chapter 76 reads, "And Moses related to Reuel that he had fled from Egypt and that he reigned 40 years over Cush, and that they afterward had taken the government from him, and had sent him away in peace with honor and with presents. And when Reuel had heard the words of Moses, Reuel said within himself, I will put this man into the prison house, whereby I shall conciliate the children of Cush, for he has fled from them. And they took and put him into the prison house, and Moses was in prison 10 years. And whilst Moses was in the prison house, Zipporah the daughter of Reuel took pity over him, and supported him with bread and water all the time. And at the end of 10 years, Zipporah said to her father Reuel, "No person inquires or seeks after the Hebrew man, whom thou didst bind in prison now 10 years. Now therefore, if it seem good in thy sight, let us send and see whether he is living or dead." But her father knew not that she had supported him. And Reuel her father answered and said to her, "Has ever such a thing happened that a man should be shut up in a prison without food for 10 years, and that he should live?" And Zipporah answered her father, saying, "Surely thou hast heard that the God of the Hebrews is great and awful, and does wonders for them at all times. He it was who delivered Abraham from Ur of the Chaldeans, and Isaac from the sword of his father, and Jacob from the angel of the Lord who wrestled with him at the ford of Jabbok. Also with this man has he done many things. He delivered him from the river in Egypt, and from the sword of Pharaoh, and from the children of Cush. So also can he deliver him from famine, and make him live." And the thing seemed good in the sight of Reuel, and he did according to the word of his daughter, and sent to the dungeon to ascertain what became of Moses. And he saw, and behold, the man Moses was living in the dungeon, standing upon his feet, praising and praying to the God of his ancestors. And Reuel commanded Moses to be brought out of the dungeon. So they shaved him, and he changed his prison garments and ate bread. Even in prison, Moses remained faithful. God was preparing him for greater trials, like 40 days and nights on Mount Sinai without food or water. And later, Moses married Zipporah, the same woman who had secretly sustained him in his suffering. And now, time for the bonus fact: the staff of Noah. Did you know Moses had Noah's staff? The way he got it sounds like a superhero story, but it's 100% real. Jasher. Chapter 77, verse 38 to 51 reads, "After prison, Moses found a staff that came from the line of Noah, a rod of divine power. And afterward, Moses went into the garden of Reuel, which was behind the house, and he there prayed to the Lord his God, who had done mighty wonders for him. And it was that whilst he prayed, he looked opposite to him. And behold, a sapphire stick was placed in the ground, which was planted in the midst of the garden. And he approached the stick, and he looked, and behold, the name of the Lord God of hosts was engraved thereon, written and developed upon the stick. And he read it, and stretched forth his hand, and he plucked it like a forest tree from the thicket, and the stick was in his hand. And this is the stick with which all the works of our God were performed, after he had created heaven and earth, and all the host of them, seas, rivers, and all their fishes. And when God had driven Adam from the Garden of Eden, he took the stick in his hand, and went and tilled the ground from which he was taken. And the stick came down to Noah, and was given to Shem and his descendants, until it came into the hand of Abraham the Hebrew. And when Abraham had given all he had to his son Isaac, he also gave to him this stick. And when Jacob had fled to Paddan Aram, he took it into his hand, and when he returned to his father, he had not left it behind him. Also, when he went down to Egypt, he took it into his hand and gave it to Joseph, one portion above his brethren, for Jacob had taken it by force from his brother Esau. And after the death of Joseph, the nobles of Egypt came into the house of Joseph, and the stick came into the hand of Reuel the Midianite. And when he went out of Egypt, he took it in his hand, and planted it in his garden. And all the mighty men of the Kenites tried to pluck it when they endeavored to get Zipporah his daughter, but they were unsuccessful. So that stick remained planted in the garden of Reuel, until he came who had a right to it and took it. And when Reuel saw the stick in the hand of Moses, he wondered at it, and he gave him his daughter Zipporah for a wife. No mighty man could pull it from the earth until Moses. The moment he plucked it free, Reuel knew this was a sign from God, and he gave Moses his daughter Zipporah as wife. That staff would later become the rod of miracles, the same one Moses used to part the Red Sea. Unbelievable. Like Thor's hammer, no man could lift it except the one God had chosen. If this blew your mind, make sure to hit that subscribe button and share this with a friend. Drop a comment with the fact that surprised you the most. And as always, God bless you in Jesus' mighty name.